And here we go. My name is Carrie Harper. Thanks for hopping on this evening. This meeting is being recorded. So if you would like a copy of the recording, please just send me a message and let me know that. I'm glad to share it with you and any of your peers that would like the information that I'm sharing. We're talking today about the ABC method, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail of why it's a certification course, who it's for, and a little bit about what we do in the certification just to see if it applies to you in your practice. I'm going to start with these slides. They're more to help me than you, honestly. It helps me remember where I am. So the ABC method is developed by me, Carrie Harper. I am an ACE certified fitness professional and pre and postnatal fitness expert. And I've been spending the last decade working on this method live and in person with my personal clients. I started it on myself, of course, then transitioned to helping clients with it. And then it transitioned into these different systems, my book and my online course, and different ways that I have to get the message out there to help people that are struggling with diastasis recti and core dysfunction. And we'll go into what those things are as well. Okay, so the ABC method is a core stability and strength method that is safe for a core that has been injured or herniated or the muscles have been separated. So for example, diastasis recti is the division of the rectus abdominis. It happens very often. We're going to talk about some stats in a minute. Happens really often in pregnancy and some other things as well, where the two halves of the rectus abdominis and the vertical line open and they don't necessarily come back together. So in between two halves of the muscle would be some loose tissue, and that can cause all kinds of problems. It's also linked to pelvic floor issues. So the core and the pelvic floor, they're connected. A lot of times they go together. So these methods have shown to be helpful in diastasis recti, core dysfunction, core functionality, and pelvic floor as well. The reason that it's the method that it is because it is a fitness integration method. So this is not a postpartum specific method. It is more for anybody who is working with any clients who are struggling with any of these issues involving core and pelvic floor, because it's integrating beautifully into what we already teach in fitness. So whether you are teaching boot camps or circuit training or HIIT training or mind body training, we can integrate this method into what you already do, which is why this method is very special and why I spend so much time with the people that go through the course with me in person, so that we know exactly how to move forward and integrate the system and pay it forward for the clients. The reason that it's a method and that I'm sharing it with other professionals is because I am understanding that that is the way that I can help people help more people. I am understanding that there are only so many people who are going to be able to work with me, and there's a lot more people that can work with you. So if we are sharing this information and able to integrate it across spectrums of fitness, then we're helping an incremental amount more people that are being helped currently. So diastasis recti, like I was saying, is a protrusion of the abdomen, or it looks like the muscles are falling out of the body. It can lead to back problems, digestion problems, like I said, pelvic floor issues, including bowel and urinary issues. And it can be very uncomfortable, in fact, painful in the core muscles. If they're open enough, it can cause a hernia of umbilical or of intestinal. And that's also very uncomfortable and could become dangerous. So not only is it aesthetically displeasing for someone that has this problem, they might be very frustrated that they're working on their fitness and they're doing all these things, but their belly is not getting better, is what they'll tell you. Or I don't understand why the rest of me is getting in shape and my belly is not. Or I don't understand why my tummy hurts when I'm trying to do these exercises. Why does my core feel weak? And why does my tummy stick out when everything else is coming back in? It could be postpartum, or it could be for several other reasons. So to help somebody with that issue, we of course want to help them understand the condition, and then to help them understand what they can do in their lives to make it better, not just aesthetically, but for their overall health and fitness goals. If they can work on diastasis and they can work on their core stability and strength, then everything in their fitness gets better, because everything ends up structuring around the center of the body. It's all connected. So if you're seeing my screen, you're seeing images of different people that have diastasis and how different it can look on different people. And so what I usually start asking people is, you know, do you feel like your belly is swollen? Do you feel like there's a core weakness? Do you feel like your muscles are falling out? And, you know, if any of these things are answered with yes, or if they're just having core weakness or core stability problems in regular fitness, I'm going to default to using the ABC method, because even if it's not this exact injury, I can guarantee them that their core structure will improve by using the ABC method. And then, like I said, everything gets better on top of that. Causes of diastasis recti are not just pregnancy. We're seeing it a lot in men who gain a lot of weight around the center of their body, because men gain fat underneath the muscle and women tend to gain the fat on top of the muscle. So if men are gaining a lot of weight underneath the muscle and the fat in the belly is growing and pushing the belly out, they can eventually get diastasis recti. I'm also seeing it in improper weight training. So somebody that's throwing weights around, hasn't learned proper weight training, needs to work on their form, could do something to open those muscles out. And that could be very dangerous when lifting heavy equipment with that laxicity in the center of the body, and the organs right underneath the elasticity could be problematic. Some medical conditions also end in diastasis recti, and we'll talk about those in a second as well. So here's some statistics for you, and these are underestimated. In other words, these are what journals are reporting. What we know is that diastasis recti and pelvic floor dysfunction are greatly, greatly underdiagnosed. Most people are never asked about it. Most people are never checked for it. Most people don't know to ask about it. And so most of the time, people are walking around with these dysfunctions and they won't know until they start asking questions, or until they are with a professional that understands what they're going through. And a professional, like somebody that's working with the ABC method, is more likely to see the issues and give them the help that they need, rather than shoving it under the rug. So here are the very light statistics. 60% of postpartum women are diagnosed with diastasis recti at 6 weeks postpartum. Okay, so postpartum, we can expect, this says 100% of pregnancies have diastasis by week 36. That is the modern estimate by most midwives and doulas, that they're seeing it in 100% of pregnancies that make it to week 36. And then postpartum, a few women are naturally core stable and can bring the diastasis back together themselves. I would say that is the rarer of the people. Most people don't know what to do, right? Because they haven't been taught core stability and function. And so at 6 weeks, they're more than likely still going to have diastasis recti. And 24% are going to be diagnosed with pelvic floor. Again, that is very low, because most midwives and doulas will tell you that almost every woman they see that has given birth has some level of pelvic floor issue. 65% of men with an issue called AAA have diastasis recti. So it has to do with the aortic valve, and that causes swelling in the middle of the body, and that causes diastasis recti. So heart problems and the aortic valve problems are on the rise in America, as we know. So 65% of these men struggling with this condition have diastasis recti, and for the most part, I really am struggling with hearing a solution for the men. They're usually, when they come to me, they're told to either live with it or go under the knife, and usually the knife is too dangerous for them to go under. So it's definitely important for those men to have some information to be able to move forward. I would also say that this is typical for everybody that is going to a normal doctor or hospital with their issue, just because it is not really talked about in the medical industry very much unless it is brought up by the patient. So we encourage our people to ask about it. If they want a diagnosis or if they want an ultrasound on the area, to ask. 15% of the general population, meaning everybody from men, women, and children, have diastasis recti of some degree, and it could be caused by any of these things that we're talking about. 32% of postpartum women have diastasis 1 year postpartum. And really what I see after that first year is that if they have diastasis, it continues to be an issue unless there is some intervention and unless there are some solutions for them, which is why I end up helping grandmothers very often. And usually the grandmothers will say to me, oh my gosh, I've had this for 30 years. Is it even possible for me to do anything about it? The answer is, of course, yes. Your body does not have an expiration date for healing. The only expiration date it has is the end. And that's not what we're talking about here. So if you want to heal and recover, we're not going to tell you that you can't. We're going to tell you that all things are possible. And the ABC method is a great way to teach people how to take that control back. So it's not only giving them something that they can do in fitness, it is giving them the power to decide to heal and recover their own bodies. And here's kind of what it looks like. So I think of it as a pyramid. The ABC method is the base of the pyramid, or the slab of the house upon which everything else is built. Without the slab, without the foundation of your house, putting the fitness, the health, and all of the other wonderful things that we do on top of it are great, but they're not going to be as sturdy for this particular client that we're talking about without the ABC method at the core, of everything that we do. So it's something, like I said, that's integrated throughout everything that we teach, in every position and every movement, even in life lessons. It can be integrated so that it's not confusing. It's just what we always go back to. It's always where we can set our foundation. This kind of shows you the flow of the process that I take teachers, instructors, and trainers through. I teach them the diagnostics. So we teach how to do the client diagnostics, how to recognize problems, how to help the client see the right questions to ask, all of that. We go into the sort of therapy section, which is teaching your client the basics, the strengthening exercises, what they can do in their daily lives. And then we can put fitness on top of that. So we talk about all kinds of fitness, how the muscles can be strengthened in all kinds of fitness, how all of it works together as we're talking about a holistic person. We don't pick a person apart as different tiny pieces. And then we also go through the next step protocol, which means that we don't stop when we get to a certain point of training or teaching or helping somebody. We give them their next steps. So we'll do another diagnostic where we're looking at how well these last 4 to 6 weeks have gone. And then we can help them make the next right choice. And we can continue working with them. That way we're never having the bad breakup that some methods will teach. It's like, oh, we're done now. Well, we don't want to be done. We want to continue to help people and progress them forward. It's even more empowering when we can see them really progress in their fitness and their overall wellness and make their lives better. So we teach all of that. I teach my teachers all of this over the course of 12 hours. And so if you didn't know, the ABC method is a ACE approved certification. It is 1.2 in ACE, which translates to 12 credit hours of education. And we go through all of this, and then there's also ongoing support. So after we're done with the certification, you're in a group with me. We do monthly check-ins. We do case studies. We continue to sharpen the knife. We continue to work on the method to make it great for every single person that we see. So I take a lot of personal accountability for making this the best method possible to serve our clients well. And I want to serve my teachers well. If they're going to say that they are ABC method instructors, I want to make sure that they feel empowered to teach the ABC method correctly and that they feel really strong about what they're doing. It takes about 12 hours to get through that. And then again, the monthly support calls are about an hour, maybe a little less. We check in with each other and we keep it light. It's not heavy, but it's real life. And so these are things that we have to continue working on, including me. And I just wanted to show you some of my previous clients. These are folks that have gone through my various methods, whether it was with me in person or in a group training situation, or using my online course. This is the success that we see, and it's so much more than the skin and the muscles. In order for them to feel this good to go to their mirror and take this picture and send it to me, it's life-changing. It's life-changing. And I don't take that lightly either. I take that very seriously, and I feel really blessed to be part of that puzzle. And that's why I want more teachers and instructors to be part of that puzzle, because we can change things. We can exponentially change things. These are just some reviews from my book. So my book is called Flatten My Postpartum Belly. It's available on Amazon, and I've enjoyed seeing people read it from all over the world. They've really enjoyed it, as well as professionals in the wellness space, like chiropractors and physical therapists that have it in their offices to loan out to their clients. And I love getting on calls. I guest speak at conferences to continue to get the word out about how vital and important this level of education is. So that is all about the ABC method. My next certification class on the schedule, if you are watching this video in the end of 2020, I have a scheduled certification class that's going to be weeknights. My last one was over a weekend. This next one, we're going to do 4 weeknights at the end of October. So we'll take it into chunks. Another thing about taking the certification class is that I make sure that there's break time, that there is time to absorb the material, that there is lots of practice time, and then there's a lot of discussion time. So we don't cut our time short. We leave some open-ended time to really go through things well. And so right now we're all virtual. Of course, as I'm speaking, we're in sort of this COVID thing going on in the United States. And so it's safer to be working on computer, which is kind of nice because I am in Austin, and that way people from other areas of the country and of the world can get on with me and learn this method and certify in it. If you work with a group, if you work with, say, a postpartum fitness group of trainers or instructors, or you work with a group of boot camp instructors for a certain development, we can also structure a plan where either online or socially distanced in person, if we're still dealing with COVID, we can do this live. And we can do this just with that section of people so that we can be really, really specific in the methods that will be taught going forward. So if you want to request a certification for a specific group, you'll want to email me or send me a message, and we need to talk through exactly what that would look like for your group. But that is great, because then it gets everybody in the group on the same page and nobody's left out, and everybody's empowered to help people. And, you know, the bottom line is that it improves our bottom line when we serve people better. And I want to see that too for fitness professionals, wellness professionals. If you are independent and you want to take the class independently, the next one, like I said, is at the end of October. And then I will be putting out a 2021 calendar where we'll do some virtual, and we'll be hopefully coming out of COVID at some point so that I can do some live in different facilities. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to end the recording. Make sure that you reach out to me if you have any questions or any requests.